ETs tell him he is a primordial creator of conscious universes. I've been to other dimensions, he says. In this beautiful channeled session I had with Julius, we find out some very interesting things. The first thing is we find out that some people, seemingly normal human people, already have inherent abilities to shift between alternate universes.
Lived things that I cannot explain yet. I think I have gone through different dimension here on Earth. Once I was driving my car and suddenly I was on a different road. I didn't know how I got there. Once I was in Glasgow on a trip and I went to some shop and it's to the same shop the next morning and it was totally new. It was changed for the change would take many weeks to change it, and it was unbelievable. It is strange, very strange, and I cannot understand it yet. I must have walked in another dimension.
But what the extraterrestrials say through me about him is something I had never heard of before. They tell us that he is one of the primordial beings who creates consciousness in all of the universes, in all of the multiverses. We also understand why you've come here to this world at this time, and you don't completely remember where we've come from. Yes, we are Pleiadians. There are others, though, that don't have names on Earth. You'll remember. And there is a very select group of, they don't even want to be called extraterrestrials. There's a very select group of very unique power individuals from concepts humans don't understand. You are one of the prime beings in the multiverse that populates other worlds with our concepts. And we cannot do our work without you. Your work is actually responsible for conscious evolution in all of the realms. And this is not unusual in reference to the level of spiritual power. What I am learning by doing these channeled ET readings is that human beings are the most powerful spiritual deities in the entire multiverse. In fact, only the most powerful of deities are allowed to come here and incarnate. So what I do in these ET channeled readings is I channel the information that comes from higher dimensional extraterrestrial beings, and the result is that the person that I'm talking to goes through what I refer to as 5D reintegration, where they reintegrate into their higher dimensional identity. And every one of them is unique and every one of them is powerful. And so far, all of these readings I've done have been unbelievable. So strap yourself in. This is a very interesting reading. I am here with Julius. Julius is in Iceland, and we are here to do an ET channeled session with him. So I know nothing about Julius other than I am friends with Thordis, who is one of my followers on my YouTube channel. So this will be very interesting because I have no idea where this is going to go or what's going to happen. So Julius, please feel free to introduce yourself and go ahead and just start talking a little bit about why you're here, what you're looking for.
Okay. First off, Thordis recommended me to come. She thought I would be good in this. I am I work with her. We are both teacher in college, and I am an electronic engineer, and I have been doing that or in this work for more than 30 years, and it has given me a lot of freedom doing many other things because I like to do so many things. I have ideas about many things and invention and so on.
Hmm.
And I have had interest in all of many things, all kinds of healing technology. I have learned a lot and gave many people healing, all kinds of healing. And once I was supposed to be a doctor before I went to be engineer, but it ended to be an engineer, and I'm thankful for that because otherwise they would have fired me because I don't go by the rules or the rules they make. So yeah, and I'm very much into sports and active lifestyle. Yeah, healthy life also. Think about myself and take good care of me all life and yeah yeah, I'm very active in many things, interested in many things. So that's some.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, so right off the bat, as when you talked about healing,
Yeah.
as soon as you started talking about healing, I felt a big surge of energy. So that's usually them going, yeah, yeah. So the light beings are very interested with your healing practices. So, talk a little bit more. Tell me, so Thordis recommended that you come here and check this out. Um, what are you looking for, expecting from our our session here today?
It's very few days since she mentioned this, and she thought I would be good to know more about myself or something I don't know, or and I've always had interest in extraterrestrials, and I believe you know I have been taken a few times, I believe, through my dreams and shown different worlds, and I have also also lived things that I cannot explain yet. I think I have gone through different dimension here on Earth a few times because once I was driving my car and suddenly I was on a different road. I didn't know how I got there for some half minutes. And once I was in Glasgow on a trip, and I went to some shop, and it's to the same shop the next morning, and it was totally new. It was changed for the change would take many weeks to change it, and it was unbelievable how
Wow.
much it changed it for being like in the 50s to now today. It is strange, very strange, and I cannot understand it yet. I must have walked in another dimension.
Wow.
So I don't know. I've always had interest in more than what is happening on the earth, and I often feel like I am in a kindergarten waiting for people to wake up, and
Yeah.
all around me. I have worked in a more than 100 people place, and most of them like are robots. They just believe what comes on the news, and they are totally stoned.
Okay. All right. So a lot of things are coming to me now from them. The first thing that I heard them say, this was when you just started talking, was that you wanted to understand more about my connection, what it meant to me. And so, for anybody who's new to the channel, I don't know how much, Julius, of my channel you've watched. So in June of 2022, I did what is called CE5 protocols, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which, if you're familiar with Dr. Stephen Greer, that's something that he created. Supposedly, he co-created it with extraterrestrials as a way for humans to connect with them. So I did not believe in ETs. I did not believe they existed, even though I'm a spiritual person. I've been teaching Qigong and energy work my whole life. I just, from a scientific perspective, I thought this is impossible. However, I saw the movie called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is a documentary of him doing that. And I said, if these beings exist, I have to experience it. So I did it. And the first couple of times, even though I was successful, I talked myself out of it. And the third time, it was so powerful. I got things on video and on audio, and I had such a powerful experience that I couldn't deny that not only had I had created a connection with beings from another planet, I was communicating to beings that were in a higher frequency, perhaps another dimension altogether. And they started coming to me in these higher dimensional forms every day for months. And they did all kinds of energy work on me and completely, totally destroyed my understanding of reality. And, the drama still goes on. So what I'm doing right now, in case you're interested or anybody else watching, I have a connection to them. I can't tell you what it is. All I know is that I feel the energy. The energy is also has a strong emotional connection to it, as well as an energetic, a magnetic connection. And so I am able to oftentimes verbalize whatever it is they're communicating. And if it's an emotion, I'll share the emotion, and if I get a picture in my mind, I'll share that. So this is what I'm doing right now with you. You may know this. Anyway, there, I've explained it. So the feeling that I'm getting about you is that, I mean, seems pretty obvious, but the feeling that I get is that you chose to come here, that you have been an extraterrestrial many lifetimes. So this is why you have a natural ability to do the things that they do. So just to be clear, I'm currently working to train myself to be able to do what you've said you're already doing spontaneously, which is that you're shifting timeline, what people would call timelines, you're shifting frequencies, and this is happening to you without you even necessarily consciously trying to make it happen. So that isn't something that just happens to people.
Okay.
This is something that occurs over thousands of lifetimes of working to create it. These beings, even though, there's so many new age people talking about ETs and light beings and all that, and they claim to channel them and all that stuff. These beings are as real as you and I are. They're not spiritual ideas out there. They're physical people.
Mm-hmm.
And what they have shown me is that Earth is a frequency that is very specific. In fact, it is anomalous to the rest of how the universe functions. We think, when we talk about them being from other dimensions or other frequencies, we think they're in some strange place. And the opposite is true. We're in the strange place. We're in this program. It's just like a computer program. And once inside of it, we get trapped in it. So they have the ability, if they choose to come in and out of this frequency. We don't have that ability unless we've either somehow learned how to do it, which is very rare, or if you come into this life with these unconscious abilities. So the only way that can happen is if you've already been doing this. Okay. So the feeling that I get right off the bat is that you're not just a scientist here, you're a scientist out there. You're a scientist, you're an engineer, you're a technician, and you've come here specifically to create an interdimensional connection. Now, what I've learned from myself, what they've shown me is that this is something that can only be done from the inside. It can't be done from the outside in. It has to be done from the inside out. And so you've chosen to come here in this lifetime to facilitate that. So you've been doing it unconsciously this whole time. And now what you have the ability to do is to be conscious about it. So what will be beneficial for you, if you're not already doing this, is to consciously seek to make that conscious higher dimensional connection with them, and allow that process to awaken within you the things that you've already brought with you, as well as maybe even give you more abilities.
Yes.
What you said about this, I laughed. I think I laughed when you said you're in a kindergarten waiting for everybody to wake up. And that is exactly how I feel now. 3 years ago, I was one of those people that was completely unaware of all this. Even as spiritual as I was, even though I did energy work and all that stuff, I went through an incredibly harsh awakening. It almost destroyed me. And so I completely agree with you. We live in a world where people are literally incapable of seeing the truth. It'll be right in front of them and they won't see it. And even if they start to see it, they will very vigorously and sometimes violently reject it. So there has to be people like you who can come in and create an energetic, perhaps dimensional portal of connection. So what I've come to find out about these readings, because this wasn't my idea, they suggested it, that I start doing these readings. And what I've come to find out after talking with people who have gone through this is that these readings are creating a dimensional portal between the light beings and whoever is that I'm doing the reading for. And when this reading is over, you'll find out, but my prediction is that things are going to start expanding. You're going to start to have more dreams. You're going to maybe even get visitations. You'll be able to connect to them telepathically, whatever your gifts are. Very, very likely you will start coming up with new inventions to help create these things. And yeah, so go ahead. I'm interested to hear your responses on any of it.
Yeah, I work, as you said, I tried so much. I have tried so much to reach to people to take them from the wrong path and help them to the right path, and nobody listen. It's like people I'm talking to, because I feel it in myself. What happens 4 or 5 years ago when the crazy harassment to the humankind with this year, and I knew it in my heart from the beginning. It was a poison, and I tried all the guys in my department. I tried to tell them the truth, but everybody had their explanation why they should do it. All kinds of stupid things.
Yeah.
And I've also helped people, try to help people maybe are not so close to me, but with severe sickness. But I found out you cannot do it unless they ask you to do.
Yeah.
And now I'm just thinking of myself. And if somebody asks me to help for anything, I will do it. But now I'm just focusing on my things. I have my last 2 weeks of work in my regular work. Then I'm free and do what I like. So I'm in a good place, and I look forward to this. And I like to tell you that I don't know if you know who Tory Smith is. He died a few years ago. He was a Akashic reader, and he knew everything about everybody if he liked to know. And I had a conversation with him once, and he told me that I had 800,000 DNA codes awake. So I am at the same place as he was when he started to read in the Akashic hierarchy. But I have hesitated to go there and or learn about it, because I've heard that it is corrupted and they have put bad energy into it, or untrue things. So I haven't want to touch it yet for some reason. I don't know if it's true, because it's stories,
Yeah.
and I know it goes through the heart. You go in your heart and you get the info connection from there. So yeah, I am interested in many things, and the world is my horizon. It's nothing is untouchable for me. It's
Okay,
I like it.
thank you for that. It helps when you talk. It helps me connect with them. So what is coming to my mind as I'm listening to you is that what wants to come through is a third eye opening, also a pineal gland opening for you. So if you can imagine energy coming into your third eye and awakening your pineal gland. So you have a very thin belief that is holding you back. It's like just a tiny little thing around you, which is just simply that you need to find something to give you the connection and the information. So I'm here to tell you that you can be the leader of this. All you have to do is just simply reach out to higher dimensional beings and say, I'm ready. Let's go. They
Okay.
will start communicating with you, but you have to ask. Just like
Okay.
you can't heal somebody if they don't ask for it.
I
So
know.
we've got these beings out there, and let me tell you how they see you. They see you as you are. Before you incarnated, they see you as you are. This master scientist, this master healer, this very wise, very high dimensional, powerful being. So you are in your true essence. You are one of these high masters that all of these other light beings go to for instruction. So if you weren't here in your physical realm, you would be up there and you would be in such a high frequency that the extraterrestrials that are coming here to help mankind, they'd be going to you, asking you, how can we best interact with their dimension, communicate? So what they want to do is to awaken within you that knowledge.
Mhm.
Now, having gone through that and continuing to go through that myself, I can tell you that it is incredibly bizarre. So what will happen when you ask them? You
Mhm.
say, I want to connect with you. Will you please communicate with me? Show me who I truly am. Show me what I know. Show me why I'm here. What will happen is they will start to expand that experience within you. Maybe they might take you, excuse me, maybe they might take you on an astral trip. Sorry, excuse me again. They might take you on an astral trip to
Very.
some other place and it'll just completely blow your mind. But what will happen is that if you allow it, if you say yes to the experience, you will start to remember uh, what the reasons you came here and what you're here to accomplish. So in your case, that might mean more more inventions, those kinds of things. Um, okay, so what else? How do you respond to that?
When you were talking, then you talk about they. From what? Because there are many different extraterrestrials. Where do they
Oh,
come from? Where you talk about?
very good question. I'm glad you asked that. So understand from their perspective that all there is consciousness, and that they don't see us as another species. They see us as souls, and we happen to be wearing a human meat suit. So they're from all over the place. I mean, the first being that I worked with was a mantis being. I mean, he's a 7 foot tall mantis. I mean, you can't get any stranger than that.
Yeah.
And many of them, there are some that look exactly like humans, some that are humans, but they don't have, the ear flaps. And some of them look very different, but they are all one family. That's how they see it. So it's like if, you're from Iceland, I'm from America, but I don't look at you as something different because of that.
Mhm.
You're just a human. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's how they view you. So it's not just one race of extraterrestrials that is saying this. So in your higher dimensional state, I don't know, maybe, probably, I'm going to guess probably from Arcturus, based on what I know.
Okay.
But let's assume that's correct, that you're an Arcturian in a higher dimensional state. The beings that are coming to you are coming from everywhere. They're coming
Yeah.
from Andromeda. They're coming from Sirius. They're coming from the Pleiades. They're coming from, everywhere within our galaxy. And it's not about where they come from. It's about their spiritual progress
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whether or not you have the knowledge to help them. That's
Okay.
all they care about. So
Understand.
when we get to this higher frequency and there is no longer a barrier between Earth and other civilizations, it's going to be all of them. They're all going to be showing up as equals. They get together like the councils. There are councils that I've run into, and one of them calls themselves the Council of Nine. They're nine very powerful beings, and they're all different species. See what I mean?
I
So,
heard a lot about Council of Nine.
okay, yeah. So they're operating from a spiritual perspective. So how they become, whether they're a mantis being or an Arcturian or a Pleiadian, how that comes about is the soul decides what experience it wants. Arcturians tend to be scientists. So the soul might say, "I want to learn science." So they'll go and incarnate as an Arcturian. And then they might want to learn about wisdom. So then they'll go and they'll incarnate as a Pleiadian. They might want to experience physicality. They'll come and be human. See what I mean? So that's who's behind you. So if you're asking me which ones are there, they don't come to me like that. They don't.
Okay.
Almost
Understand.
very rarely do they do that
Yeah.
with me.
Must be some Pleiadians because some years ago I was reading everything about them, a lot. So I have some connection there. I think that.
Well, that would make sense why you were drawn to work with me. So choose to believe it or not, this is what they've showed me. I didn't know any of this. This was never a fantasy of mine. But
Mhm.
what they showed me was that I was part of the royalty of Atlantis, and that they were Pleiadians. They were advising me on how to create frequency technology on planet Earth, which would shift the Earth up, which included the pyramids and other things like that. So the Pleiadians are all about that. So if you say you're a Pleiadian and you're a scientist and a healer, that makes perfect sense because that's what they were advising human beings as human beings were creating all of these technologies, 13,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I have done it a few times that asking this, as you said, but I never give it an intentional asking, like now it is, I just sitting at home and doing things. And then I come to these thoughts and okay, guys, what's happening, but just for a few moments. And
Yeah.
then because my mind is so active and I'm always into something, reading
Yeah.
something, or now I'm learning about the violet flame. I'm all into that because it's a miracle, powerful um, flame that can heal everything. And from the very beginning of all the bodies is you have, and if you heal from the first body, then it goes through all the others. And because the physical body is the last states where things get out.
Okay, so here's what I just heard. We want to help him focus his abilities. Okay, so let's see what else. We want to help him focus his abilities so that he can explain to us what human beings need. I did not see that coming. So here you are, you're still teaching them. This is why you're here. Not just to help us, but to help them. They're out there going, we want to be able to reach humans. And you said, I'm going to go down and I'm going to figure it out. And when I'm down there, come back and I'll tell you what to do. This is completely opposite of everything we've heard, everything we've learned. You go read UFO books, you go to UFO conferences, you go to church, whatever, they'll tell you it's the opposite. And it's backwards. You're the healer, you're the teacher. So I don't even remember what the exact words were that I just said, but they want you to teach them how they can successfully get their frequencies into the human brain.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is making them happy. I can feel them. They're going, okay, that's now we're getting somewhere. That's what we wanted. So this
I
is your connection. This is the block. The block is, and it's not a big one. Some people have, giant, huge metallic canisters around them. You've got this little paper thin block, and that paper thin block is just simply a belief that we all have, which we think, we're here and they're big and we're tiny. And they've got a whole different view of it. They're looking at you completely differently. So what's going to happen is they are going to come to you if you ask.
Mhm.
They are going to come to you. And of course, they will awaken you to the truth about yourself. And then that is going to shift to you teaching them. So I've gone through this experience as well. One of the first things that happened to me was that they started telling me that I was going to uh, give them the ability to shift Earth. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just this human walking around. They said, no, you're not. You're much more powerful. You're more powerful than we are. We need your power to be able to get to Earth. We can't do it. We need you. And so I had to awaken to who I was enough to be able to go, oh, okay, all right. And when I go out there, I go out there as if I'm running the show. And they ask me what to do. And I go tell the mantis beings, okay, go and do this. And that sounds so weird and opposite, unless we go back and understand what really happened and the story of Earth. is that all of these beings from all of these different planets and beings that aren't physical, what we call the gods up in the higher dimensions, they all got together and they said, let's create an experiment where we can become even more powerful. And then all of the different races and the different dimensional beings got together and put in their ideas for this planet we call Earth. And then people, meaning souls, started going, okay, I want to go there. Okay, I want to go there. Okay, I want to go there. You were going to say something. Go ahead.
Oof, yeah. When you're talking and things are making more sense, because I've always felt I I don't I don't know if I can say I do not belong here, but I am here and I'm son and a brother and I have sisters and so on. But I've always felt that there is something wrong here. There is much more to this, and that is this now. We are in so primitive way in many ways, and all the politician in every country is so
Yep.
blind,
Yep.
and I I feel so alone because I see how everything how it can be in a much better way, and I have felt always that I'm totally different from most, and but I couldn't figure what, but now I am getting to understand.
Good, good. I'm glad. So I want to go back to something you said very early on, because that really something in me struck me, which had to do with, I think you touched, maybe I'm making this up or something, or maybe I'm intuiting it, I don't know, but I think you said something about um, you worked on or work on inventions for healing that have to do with frequency. What was that? Well, how did I
Uh,
get that idea?
okay. Uh, I have made uh, frequency equipment, super elegant, uh, but it was based on Royal Drive technology from 1930 something. And I had the Rolls Royce of this equipment, but it was just my hobby, and because everything I do is a hobby, because I have another work, but I like it, and it is totally was working beautifully, and I was reading literature from him when he was healing all the cancer patients totally with his tech device and very good technology, and he was showing many doctors taking part in it, and many at this time was very interested. But when the American Doctors Society
Yeah.
came into it, they destroyed everything, and
Yep.
and they have to flee to Mexico, or they died or whatever, and all
Yeah.
all these the the equipment he developed, there was damaged, so they couldn't use it to see in the microscope 16 times bigger to see how he treated the bacteria and viruses with frequency, and see how it exploded the protein cover from every bacteria and virus, and it could heal everything. So for me it was so obvious that because frequency is solution for so many things,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's
Okay. So let me share something with you.
yeah.
I'm not a scientist. I don't know anything about this stuff. But what I was shown was that 13,000 years ago, the Pleiadians specifically, the other races were there too, but Pleiadians were very involved in teaching human beings how to use frequency to shift their consciousness and a bunch of other things. So that's what the pyramids are. And now the scientists are now discovering there's all these structures underneath the pyramids. We're now figuring this all out. The pyramids are not, 2004. They're really old. They're, over 10,000 years old. And so that probably means that you may have had something to do with that. You may have been a Pleiadian,
Mhm.
was here part of that. So this means, and then what happened is we had the Yuga shift where we our frequency came down because we went further away from the galactic center, which happens all the time. It's a 26,000 year cycle that the Earth goes through. And so 13,000 years ago, we were at the height of that. So all of that came crashing down and we lost all of that. And so what we're going to head towards in the future is the same technology, except it's going to be on a higher level. And that higher level will be, instead of focusing on physical technology, it's going to be more of a spiritual nature. So, in other words, it will be focused more on intention, how we can focus our intention. And the other first thing, before you even mentioned it, again, I don't know anything about this, but what popped into my mind is crystals. Somebody back there said crystals,
Mhm.
and that you should be working with crystals and how to use that in conjunction with intention in a technological way to create healing and to create all of that. And the feeling that I get is that this is a project you started and you didn't get to finish it. I just got hit with energy as I said that. So that tells me that you were involved in this very likely 13,000 years ago, and then everything fell apart. And now you're like, for 13,000 years, you've been up there and down here and going, okay, I want to get back to, let's finish this project. I want to do this thing.
Mhm.
This is why you're so obsessed. You hear about the violet flame. You hear about that guy's. You hear about all these things. You want to go and figure it out because that's part of you that wants to finish this project. So I'm here to tell you that you don't necessarily need to go anywhere else.
Mhm.
You have the knowledge within you. It's just a question of reawakening it. So the first step is to believe that you have it. You're not just this human being on this planet who has an interest in all this stuff, and that's not who you are. You are
Mhm.
a master scientist, a master of frequency, a master of healing through frequency. And you have finally now have the ability to connect these two things. So you've got all this knowledge that you've done in your academic work. You have your spiritual practice that you've been, looking around trying to do. And now we're at the place where we can connect directly to higher dimensional beings. We've never been able to do this before, not at
Mhm.
the level we are now. There's no block anymore. The
Mhm.
only block that human beings have from having the same kind of connection I have is simply the belief that they can't do it.
Understand.
The only thing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is huge, though. To get
I
over
know.
that means they have to die to the collective narrative of what this world is. They have to die to the belief in money, die to the belief in government, die to those. But we think those things are real, and they're not. They're completely intellectual concepts. They don't exist. But to let go of that belief is a psychological death.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
I People are so programmed.
yeah,
They believe in what they are told
yeah,
from the system, and they are so programmed, and the program is so strong, and they don't want to believe, out of the program. They are so programmed. And when you talk about this thin paper layer above my head, I already feel I was burning it. So it's okay now.
yeah. Good. Okay, good. So. All right, let's see what else that they would like to say. Okay, they're very happy. So they're thanking me, and they're very happy that you see now the direction to go. Let's see what else. You're so close, you have no idea how close you are. You are so close to a breakthrough. It is a breakthrough that you can't imagine right now,
Hmm.
which is why it hasn't happened. So it's a breakthrough that will be beyond anything you can conceive. And so open yourself up to that. We are now going to come and we are going to drill into your brain and awaken from within your brain the truths that you have been wanting to know. I mean, these are words I would never use. So, drilling into your brain. So they're talking to you in a way that you need to hear. This is the way you need to be talked to. We also understand why you've come here to this world at this time, and you don't completely remember where we've come from. So these are beings that come from the same place as you. Yes, we are Pleiadians. There are others, though, that don't have names on Earth. You'll remember, and there is a very select group of, they don't even want to be called extraterrestrials. There's a very select group of very unique power individuals from concepts humans don't understand. So they're talking like that. They're talking about their realm. I'm using their words. This is how
Okay.
they view themselves. So
Okay.
these are beings that come from a concept.
Hmm.
They don't come from a universe they come from a concept. They live inside of a concept.
Hmm.
We are looking to birth these concepts into other universes. They said worlds, but what they meant was universe. So for them, a universe is a world.
Hmm.
So they're looking to like put the seeds of their concepts, which will then take root and be birthed.
Hmm.
They work with you. So like in sci-fi movies, ETs come and seed the planet, with all that, like that's what they do, but these are concepts. These are spiritual understandings that once a world, meaning a universe or a dimension has been created, they populate it by putting in their concept inside, and then it takes hold. You are one of the prime beings in the multiverse that populates other worlds with our concepts. And we cannot do our work without you. Your work is actually responsible for conscious evolution in all of the realms. You were one of the prime beings that began to imagine and conceive of the concepts of consciousness and evolution. Okay, so I don't understand all of that. A lot of energy coming through me with that. So now this is what I mean. Human beings, I've been saying this on the channel, which was a absolute mind blower for me, which is that human beings are the most powerful deities in the multiverse. The only way that anybody can incarnate on Earth is if you are one of the most powerful deities that has ever existed. There are a lot of the light beings, a lot of the ETs that are here that are, so far above our human civilization. If you talk to them, like if you were to talk to one of those, they would be in awe. They would be like starstruck. Like, oh my God, it's him. It's that guy. We would be looking at them like, and they're like, what are you looking at me like that for? You're the guy who invented. Oh, that's right. He doesn't remember. Those beings can't come here because they wouldn't survive. Only the most powerful deities can survive the intense pressure of planet Earth. So even people on planet Earth, if you look at the most failed person, somebody who was born and ends up, living on the street and dies a drug addict, and the biggest loser on planet Earth, that is one of the most powerful deities that ever existed, because just to be able to get here, you have to be at that level. So we're now talking about all of the people on Earth who we experience as being, like kindergartners who aren't awakened. So what does that tell you about somebody like you, who's awakened in his natural state to the point where he can see how the world needs to be, who understands things that most people don't know, that is actually, death. They think it's medicine. And you're like, no, it's not. It's so obvious it's not. And they're like, what are you talking about? So to be at that level means that among the gods, here's the normal extraterrestrial down here, and then here are the gods, and then here are the gods that have the ability to come to planet Earth, and then above that there are the master gods. You're one of them.
Wow.
So the challenge, I know because I've gone through it and I'm going through it, is to expand into that, to get over false humility and say, oh, I get it now. Okay, I'm here. And then you can do your job.
Yeah. You say, if I go into this, which I will eventually, of course, because there is nothing else, I will feel at home there, I believe so. Yeah. But the thing is, you say it is beyond imagination how it will be. I am so into that. There is nothing can surprise me.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction, my friend. Yeah, it will. It's going to be beyond anything you can comprehend.
Yeah, okay, of course, it will be so new for me, but I will take it as a learning steps and take it all in, and with my both hands here open.
Yeah, and again, those were their words, not mine.
Okay, yes.
They were saying you have no idea what this is going to be. So your human brain goes out to here, right? So what they're going to do is when you connect to that higher dimensional energy, what's going to happen is it's going to go like and trust me, the concepts are going to be beyond what your human brain is capable of holding on to. So, but it's what we need.
Yeah.
It's what we need.
We need something different.
Yeah.
Very much different. It's so.
So at this point, I want to make sure that you have the technology to do this. So have you done CE5 yet?
Support energy, the radionics technology. Are you talking about that?
So CE5 is a particular meditative process designed specifically by extraterrestrials so that you can make a higher dimensional connection. So go on to Google and simply type in CE5 protocol. Okay?
Oh, it is very strange you mention this, because CE5 is a special webpage for radionics technology.
Oh, look at that.
And it's wow, it's and I have been working with that for many years, but not what you are talking about. It seems to be.
So what I'm talking about is a specific meditative process, a very simple one. It's what people normally do when they want to go outside and see a spaceship. Okay. But that will give you the basics. Also, go on to my channel, which is the Michael Denney channel, and do the interdimensional meditations. You can do the recorded ones on the live section, or if you want to show up to the live ones, we do it every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 Eastern. And so I'm bringing that up because that is something that has to happen before the huge expansion in your mind will take place. There has to be a higher dimensional infusion. Okay. So that's how, when I said you have to reach out and you have to ask, that's how to do it. And I can explain, because this might be good for other people to hear. So I'm going to explain the science behind this. So our third dimensional frequency that we live on planet Earth is a mental frequency, but it is already set in place, and it happens without our conscious knowledge, even though unconsciously we're creating it all the time. Higher dimensional ETs do not have the ability nor the permission to break through that and connect to you with their higher frequency. They can sometimes subtly get in and give you ideas and perceptions. They can do that, but it's like, a radio it's not very clear, and you think it's coming from you. But when you have a direct connection, you're going to know. You're going to feel an electromagnetic energy you've never felt before. Your body will go, what the heck is that? You've never felt anything like that before. And if you do this process, you are giving permission, which creates a higher dimensional portal, which allows them to connect with you. Permission is everything. This is why all of the people who have been abducted by aliens, the aliens are actually human beings, because extraterrestrials never violate your boundaries, ever, under any circumstances. So in order for you to have what they're wanting to give you, you have to reach out. And how this works is this: it's very simple, but it actually works out to be true. So when you do the CE5 protocol, it's very simple. You just simply go into a meditative state. You imagine that your consciousness is leaving your body, and that you fly up out through Earth's atmosphere, and you imagine yourself breaking through Earth's gravitational field, and you're in interplanetary space. And as you imagine floating in interplanetary space, you then send out a conscious invitation, and you say, I would like to communicate with any extraterrestrial or higher dimensional beings. That is necessary. Then the next step is, once you've sent that out, you might get a response, like you'll feel it, or you'll get an image in your mind. Like when I did it, I saw in my mind, I saw this mantis being. It's like, what the heck? So that could happen. That means that somebody heard you, and they're going to come to you. But even if that doesn't happen, you send out the invitation, and then you imagine your energy coming back into Earth's atmosphere, back into your house, and then back into your body. They call this vectoring. And the idea is that you think that you are showing the extraterrestrial where you are on planet Earth so that they can find you and then come and be with you. That's not what's happening. But it's important that you think that's what's happening, because that means that you are continuing to give permission, and it prepares the mind for something that it doesn't understand. So that when it happens, you will experience it. Because what happens if people don't go through this process, the brain is designed to push out everything it doesn't understand. So if an extraterrestrial were to land and come through your roof and stand in front of you in a higher dimension and say, hey, Julius, it's me, it would just bounce right off. You wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't feel it, because you didn't prepare your mind to go, okay, I'm ready for something I don't understand.
Then I have a very important question.
Yeah.
These extraterrestrials, are they totally honest on a godly will?
There is zero negativity in them. Let me explain it to you from, again, a scientific perspective. Feelings like fear, anger, violence, greed, insecurity, all the things associated with what we would call sins, right? All of those things, that's a frequency. That's a frequency that can only exist in the third dimension or below. This is why we talk about demons and ghosts and hell. Hell means the second dimensional frequency. So once you get above the third dimensional frequency, even when you get to the higher frequencies of the third dimension, those emotions cannot exist. This is why frequency heals cancer. Because that frequency, as you've seen, the cancer cells can't survive in that. It's the exact same thing. If you were to be in the fifth dimension and you tried to become angry, you would literally fall out of the fifth dimension and plop down in the third. You'd appear out of nowhere. So that's not going to happen. The other thing is that these feelings are harmful to other beings. When you're in a higher frequency, you're in a state of, what do they call that? I forget what it's, where all things are linked together, anyway, I forget the scientific word for that. But you know what I'm talking about. Everything is connected. There's no difference. And they live in that. So
harmony.
What's that?
Harmony, or, in a harmony environment?
They're in a harmony. Yeah. They're in a state of harmony. I'm trying to remember the scientific term. I can't remember. But in any case, they're interconnected with all other beings. And that can't happen when you're selfish. That breaks that connection. So they feel good when they're connected to everything. It would be suicidal for them to be evil.
Okay.
So they're incapable of it.
Okay.
So this is why, again, you have to make the connection. You have to ask for permission, because if you don't, they can't.
Okay.
They can't go against your boundaries. So they can't do anything that you haven't asked for. And again, aliens who abduct, they are violating people's boundaries. They're harming them. They're frightening them. They're doing things against people's will, which means that they're humans. They're humans with very powerful technology that is creating a show. And people have been abducted. They have been experimented on. All those things have happened, but it's been humans doing it, pretending to be extraterrestrials.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is part of it. The fear they make about this, because they are always making up this fear to everything, so people will keep locked in their, in the space. And I didn't know about this, but now I know, and now I feel very comfortable in this. We are bombarded with all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah,
all the time.
So there is one last thing, since we're on this, I think it's important to talk about. So that doesn't mean that if you make contact and they connect with you with their frequency and communicate to you, it doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a possibility of you having an uncomfortable, strange, or maybe even frightening experience.
Yeah, no problem.
Because we're afraid of the unknown.
I have no fear.
Okay, good. The other thing is that when they communicate to you, very often, when you get the communication, your brain will go, I don't think that, no, I don't like that. If you have that experience, like afterwards you go, I think I made that up. I think I was imagining that. That is almost a 100% guarantee it came from them. Because it's going to feel like you're deluded. Like you heard what they said to you. It's incredibly grandiose. Made you sound like, if you come to that conclusion and you're being communicated and these thoughts are coming into your head, you're going to think you've gone crazy. You're going to think you've lost your mind. So that's how you know it's real, because deluded people are very attached to their delusions. And if you tell them, no, you're deluded, they get very upset. But if I come to you the next day and Mike, this being said that I was the prime commander of the higher dimensional beings and I created, and if I go, you know what, I think you made that up, you're going to go, you know what, I think I did. I think you're right. But if
Mhm.
you're deluded, you're going to go, how dare you say that? Worship me. So be prepared. I'm just preparing you for that. That's why when I said earlier, I said, you have no idea.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be like that. It's going to be more than you even think. I mean, that you're expecting this and it's going to be like this.
Okay. Yeah. I I I think I take this just as I take my steps one step at a time and deal with every situation as it comes. So yeah, I have no fear about this. It's
Very good. Good.
I'm just cool.
Good. Yeah, I get that feeling too. I think this will be, on some level, it will be a relief
Yeah.
because you'll
It
go,
it will be.
yeah,
It will be extremely important also for me to understand why I'm here because I don't feel like home.
yeah, good. Okay. All right. So I think we covered a lot, and you
Yeah.
gave me an excuse to explain a lot of things which are important. What else? Do you have any other thoughts or questions that I can see if they have
I don't
anyone?
uh, let me see. Uh, we have found out most or everything I had listed up. It has come up, and there's one thing I don't know. They will know, but let's say I put it out. When I was for 46 years ago, young man, I had a severe accident. I had some 500-kilo metal bar falling on my shoulder.
Hmm.
And it happens exactly when I was walking through some space and it come. And I have dealing with it some years now. I was thinking, what was the message?
What was that? What did that mean?
What was the message of that?
Okay.
Because it damaged me in some parts, in the spine and so on.
All right.
And
Let's see. Let's see what they have to say. This is such a sad thing to say because we know you don't remember where this wound comes from. It's an old wound from a past life, from something that you haven't forgiven yourself for. We can help you with that. Your frequency technology will help you with that. This will teach you the connection between illness and self self-hatred, self-unforgiveness. You will see the connection between the emotional state. You will also learn about how past lives influence uh, chronic health issues. When you bring all of these things together, you will be able to then heal the entire person physically, emotionally, karmically, and mentally. And frequency is the master of all of these. Okay, so there's your answer. Does that make sense?
yeah, this make a lot of sense.
Okay.
It was this a reminder on you have to deal with this. You have to take it again. You have to do it again. You haven't
Yeah.
learned about it. Yeah,
So it means that your soul chose to have that happen so that you would be here now to be able to unwind it.
yeah, yeah. This is good understanding. This is good. I like it.
Yeah, they're so they're speaking now. They're very They're very proud of your work. In fact, they're in awe of your work. And what they mean by your work is the work of your soul, not just you here now, that too,
Mhm.
but the work of your soul in all of these lives.
Mhm.
And there's this feeling of like a shot straight through going from A to Z. And they want to help align you with that. And that has a higher function of that's all about helping the world. And helping the world is all about helping the multiverse.
Mhm. Yeah.
Multiverse is going to benefit from what we do here on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always believed that. Yes.
Okay,
I've
they're
always.
happy. So they're happy. They feel like they got their messages to you. Anything else?
No, I, I don't know. I'm now very soon in few days changing my lifestyle, my work, regular work, and I'm gonna move South Europe, be there some months every year, and enjoy life more instead of work as I have done a lot, and do always a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like perfect timing then.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
do more fun things for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I've enjoyed this, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
the
very much.
privilege of meeting such an incredibly powerful being who creates concepts and brings concepts into conscious worlds. That's phenomenal. That's something I couldn't have even imagined it if you hadn't showed up. So I'm so grateful to know that you exist and that you're here and that you're helping us.
Wow.
Just shows us how important each one of us are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you, my friend.
Okay.
I
Okay. Thank you
appreciate
very much. I'm very thankful too for this information and understanding now how it's many puzzles come to the right understanding for me. So I'm very pleased to know this now more. Very pleased.
very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you
My
very much.
privilege. This transmission is nothing unusual. Every single person that I've given readings for, you find out in the higher dimensional levels, they are the most powerful beings you can imagine. In fact, if you'd like to have your own experience with light beings, please come to the live guided interdimensional meditations that we do live every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They're free, and you can go see all of the ones we've done. You just go to the live tab on my YouTube channel and you can see all of them there in case you can't make the live ones. That's it, my friends. Check out all the other links here in case you want to see all the things that I provide with the sole intent of helping you to expand into your highest 5D awareness and to bring 5D to planet Earth. Thank you very much. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. I'll see you all very soon.